Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. We got some more recruiting news as Shelton Sampson Jr., one of the best players in Louisiana, commits to the LSU Tigers. There is a lot to like, not only about this guy's game, but what LSU is bringing in this 2023 class. Guys, before we get into it, just wanted to say thank you guys for all the support you guys have showed the channel. It has been absolutely a blast to talk ball with you guys in the comments section. Love talking prospects. Love talking college football. I will link up the LSU 2022 season preview that we did. Without further ado, let's get into Shelton Sampson Jr. This guy, you see it, jumps right out. 6'4", 180 pounds. Yes, needs to put on some weight, but I absolutely love the frame. He has a background in basketball, and that's something you got to absolutely love. Having that frame combined with the basketball skills, when you watch his film, you can tell. He goes up, uses that physical frame of his, and pretty much wins every contested catch there is. But he's a guy that not only is just a contested catch kind of guy, he's really good at creating separation. He has a very sticky hands, and he's really good after the catch. And I love this ceiling that this guy brings. He is a tremendous athlete for being 6'4", and he's really hard to bring down with that big frame. Again, do I think he'll put on some weight as he gets into that LSU program? I do, but he has an extremely high floor, and this is something that Brian Kelly and the LSU program is going to need to do. When LSU is firing on all cylinders, competing for national titles, winning the SEC, it is when they're bringing in the best talent to Louisiana, keeping them home at LSU, and this is a guy that is one of the best players in Louisiana, and he's staying home at LSU. That is what Brian Kelly needs to do, and there's a lot of question marks on can he do that with the Southern culture. Brian Kelly is one of the best coaches in college football right now. I have no doubt in my mind he's going to be able to do this. The second thing, so I love Shelton Sampson Jr. as more of that vertical guy. You throw the ball up to him, he's going to make a play. But you take a look at what LSU is doing, and they call themselves wide receiver U, and it's really hard to make an argument against that with all the talent at the wide receiver position they have churned out. But him and Jalen Brown, two of the top wide receivers in the 2023 class, they complement each other beautifully. Jalen Brown, yes, he's 6'1", but a little smaller and has absolute burners. Nobody catches him in the open field. He makes people miss. He's one of the best punt and kick returners in the 2023 class. And he's a guy that you just want to get the ball into his hands early, often in the play, in space, and let him be explosive. And then Shelton Sampson, he's a guy that is going to be great in the red zone with that big frame, and he's going to be a great vertical threat. Not that Jalen Brown isn't with that top-end speed that he has, but Shelton Sampson's more that basketball player. There doesn't need to be a ton of space for him to go up and make a play. LSU has a top 10 class overall in the 2023 ranks, and they only have 18 commits now with Shelton Sampson Jr. being added. Again, what Brian Kelly did is he take a look at that program when he came in, and he addressed it through the transfer portal. They had a phenomenal transfer portal recruiting window, and they gave out a lot of scholarships to guys in the transfer portal. So this year, you might not see 23 commits to LSU's program because they use a lot of their scholarships in the transfer portal. But if LSU gets into like 20 commits in the 2023 class, they will be a top 8, top 5 team nationally in the 2023 recruiting rankings. And that's what LSU expects. And quite frankly, the talent acquisition hasn't been a problem for LSU. You look at the past couple of years, they've recruited extremely well. Outside of that 2019 year, the development of that talent, the focus of that talent hasn't been the best. And that's why you bring in a guy like Brian Kelly, who does a lot with less at Notre Dame. Didn't necessarily kill it in recruiting, but took these guys and just won football games. And that's what Brian Kelly's going to do, but you want to combine that with the recruiting. You're going to get elite talent, and you're going to get the best out of that talent when they are at LSU. Again, if you're an LSU fan, you have to be optimistic about where the program is going with Brian Kelly. It's not necessarily the most flashy coach. Is he the most charismatic guy with all the dancing? No, he's not. They leave that to Marcus Freeman, Lincoln Riley, some of the younger guys. But Brian Kelly's one of the few college football head coaches that has won at the clip that he's won at. I'm not saying he's the best coach in the country, but he is certainly a top 10 coach in the country. You combine that with the advantage that LSU has recruiting out of the state of Louisiana, and you got to love where LSU is at heading into the future. Guys, wanted to keep it short for you guys this Saturday. I encourage you to go check out Shelton Sampson Jr.'s highlights. absolute dynamite player. Y'all got a good one. If you guys did like the content, consider subscribing to the channel. We appreciate all the support, and we'll talk to y'all later.